Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Woke Wellness Wednesday. I hope you guys are having some times to yourself, essentially to wind down and get to know my guest, Cory Wilson, to the stage. Thank you so much for being here.
Dahlia, thanks for having me. I'm excited for
Yes,
this, by the way.
so
Do the guest needs to know that we spent 20 minutes before this just BSing and trying to get my hair right?
awesome. Miranda Bailey is here to join us. Yeah, we did a whole saga about the hair right now. There was a whole side quest before we got here, and we're definitely excited to say that we're live. And everybody, if you can, let's share the stream. Let's get people interested in learning more about Cory Wilson. So why don't you give us a little bit of an idea about who you are?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm Cory Wilson. So I am Eastern Band Cherokee, Shawnee, and Irish, and there's some German sprinkled in there somewhere. So I grew up in a little small town up in the mountains in Virginia, right across the North Carolina. So a little town called Galax, Virginia. So shout out to all my hillbillies back home. I love you guys. So if you know where Charlotte, North Carolina is, it's close to there. It's about 3 hours away from the Cherokee Res in North Carolina, out in Cherokee Nation. Um, I was in the Air Force. I'm an actor. I'm married to a woman that is insanely out of my league, and I have two beautiful twins, Mana and Hina, and they are a boy and a girl.
Mana and Hina. Okay, so I guess that kind of drops into our next question. Can you share with us the journey or process you went through to discover your Native American heritage?
Yeah. So with that, so I was adopted, and my parents, they told me when I was young. So I knew from the get go that I was adopted. And as I got older, I started having questions, and the questions really stemmed from, I don't look like these people, and so you got to think as a child with your frontal lobe not developed, you're not thinking like an adult, and so hey, Miranda, what's up? We might be cousins. We probably are cousins.
Ah!
Um, hey,
This episode, we're gonna find real family on a Wednesday. Let's go.
I'm usually the crazy cousin, so I hope that's all right. But yeah, so
Are you still at the
my
kids'
family
table?
told
Are you still at the kids' table when it
oh,
comes to big gatherings?
100%. 100%. I like to call that the fun table, so no judgment, please. Um, yeah, so growing up, I had this urge, I had um, this pull to really get to know who I am.
Mhm.
And so with that kind of gets me into my journey. So when I was about 15 or 16, I really started having a lot of questions. My parents are amazing. So my parents, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. And so going down my route to figure out who I am had nothing to do with them or anything that they were or were not doing. This was just on me. And so I know there's probably a lot of people out there who have also been adopted or have children who are adopted. And, I encourage you to help them embrace their culture. When I was 15, 16, somewhere in there, my parents even helped me track down my birth family, my birth parents, in order to start asking questions. So at the time, I was so young. I was so young that I didn't know how to comprehend that. I, I didn't know what I was looking for. I just wanted to know, where do I come from? What am I supposed to
Right.
be? What I had all these random questions. And so I got to meet them, and being so young, it didn't really work out as far as building a relationship or getting to know anybody. And so as I got
Right.
older, yeah, so as I got older, I had more questions. Um, once I was in the military and I was away from my small town, and I'm getting to know people, I'm getting to know other Native people. And so
Mhm.
that really started the journey. I've always been very white passing though. So I just always, just kind of pass as white in the winter. And then in the summer, I'm whatever people think I am. And so
Your skin type is seasonal?
Yeah, I'm very seasonal.
Comes
So
with
I
the
can be
color,
everything.
comes with the territory.
Mayonnaise in the winter and hot sauce in the summer. And
You
so,
heard that here. Never heard that before in my life. Oh my God.
yeah.
Wait, one more time. What did you just say? What?
What did I say? Mayonnaise in the
You
winter and hot
said,
sauce in the summer.
man, I'm gonna
So
write that down. That's too
go
funny. I
ahead
don't
and
even know. Okay. Mayonnaise
trademark that too.
in the winter, hot sauce in the summer. This is where we
Specifically,
come up with all the sayisms. I cannot spell mayonnaise. This is what you have right now. It's mayonnaise.
so hold on. So for people that are listening and not watching, can you just spell that out for the listeners on how you
What? She
spell
said that's
mayonnaise?
gross.
Yeah, mayonnaise is gross.
Mayonnaise. You
Mayonnaise
said
is
it.
nasty.
So I have a fun question. As an
Okay.
actor, looking at your IMDb and all of your credits, you got Orphan Dog, but we still love him. Dedication. I definitely want to show everybody you're real so they can
Yeah.
share, stream, and get all the humans in here because this is what time it is. It's Wednesday night. I need you to pull up. I need you to pull up strong. Come on, Mir. Come on, Miranda. Now,
Yeah.
back to you.
Let's do it.
Of all
So
the projects that you've done, what has been one of the funniest experiences?
the funniest. See, that's hard. That's hard. Because I got to do something so different in each one. So, Fugued Up was my first film that I did. It was a feature film, filmed in Boise, Idaho, and I played a gardener. And it was a 10-second clip, and and like I was in it just for a brief second, and I was one of these like I'm not gonna go too into it because I want you to go actually watch the movie. But just think of the dumbest, but think of like a muscle man, right? Like typical gym rat, but a gardener. And then just there you go. So the movie is on Amazon, so go check it out. That was my first film. My film that I enjoyed doing the most was actually probably a tie between these last two, and they're very different. One was a comedy. It's not on IMDb yet, but it is a comedy movie. It's a romantic comedy, which was the first funny film that I got to do. And so I
Nice.
really just got to throw myself in there. The other one was But We Still Love Him. With that one, I really got to get in touch with a side of me from before I changed my life. And so what I mean by that is I was just a dark person, like I wasn't, not that I wasn't not that my heart wasn't in the right place a lot of times, but I was very selfish. I did a lot of things that would benefit me. And so I was so in tune with my, like, getting what I wanted, and a lot of that comes from some of the stuff we'll actually get into later. But getting in touch with that and really diving into a lot of the issues that I used to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And so really getting to bring that to life and portray that, and in a way that can hopefully bring somebody just a shred of light, just to show them that there is hope. So
we just got a heart on the stream. Yay. This is definitely a heartfelt episode. We're definitely I've been having you in mind to bring to this stage for a while now, and I think it's going flawlessly. So do you feel like we answered this question, the journey and the process of finding your Native American heritage? How could we narrate that to everybody?
okay, so we left off with me touching base with my biological family, and then
Right.
it wasn't until I got out of the military and I started living life from, like, started trying to be myself, right? So with that being said, being in the military is just, this is who you are, this is what you're going to do. And I was like, all right, well, I don't care about anything else. I was really trying to escape reality anyway. There was a lot of there was some trauma that I dealt with from before the military, some childhood sexual trauma that I had went through. And so
Mhm.
my mind from an early age was escape reality and just get by, just float through. And so with that being said, now I was at a place where I was isolated. So I got out of the military. I moved to Boise, Idaho with my wife Ashley. And then after a couple of years here, we moved back to Hawaii, which is where she's from. She's from Waianae. So we moved to Waianae. We lived out deep west side on Oahu. And while we were there, I spent a lot of time in isolation. And so spending all
Mm.
this time in isolation, I was forcing myself to A, get to know my creator, and B, get to know me. The two people that I was running from my entire life, my creator and myself. And so I forced myself to just sit down, and I had to address a lot of issues. And so as I'm discovering all these things that I needed to work through in order to A, not go down the route in life that I had already went down, and not to repeat those same mistakes, but bring other people out with me, I also wanted to get to know who I was. I was like, if a tree doesn't know his roots, it's going to die. And so I really wanted to get to know my bloodline. That was a big thing for me growing up because, like I said, not that my parents and my sister weren't amazing, and my family, like, they're freaking awesome. And anybody that knows my family knows that. But my thing is I want to know who I am. This was before we had kids. And I was like, we're going to have kids one day. I want them to know their lineage. I want them to know their bloodline. So I was 30 years old, just starting to figure out who I was. I'm asking all these hard questions. So we spent a year in Hawaii, and then we moved to North Carolina for a year, and we lived in Asheville. We lived just outside of Asheville. We lived about an hour away from Cherokee. And so there I spent a lot of time out at Cherokee, again, in isolation. I spent a little bit of time with the community, like just trying to surround myself with other Cherokee. But again, just trying to do it in isolation, A, to seek the creator, B, to seek who I'm supposed to be. And so as I was doing that, it opened up a lot of doors. I was able to meet a lot of people, which your good friend Wayne, my cousin Wayne, we actually met on Instagram of all places.
Did you
And
guys hear
come to
what he
find out,
just said? Did you guys hear what he just said? I know you guys know that we had Wayne Garner on a Music Monday and a Woke Wellness Wednesday, and now it's his cousin. Boom, 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 boom. Wild. Yeah, I lined that up.
I will say Wayne
surprise
is
everyone.
I will say Wayne is the cool one. Wayne is Jason Momoa off of Wish.com, and I am Wayne from Dollar Tree. So, like, I'm just happy to be in the mix, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
baby. Because
and
I met
so,
Wayne from Instagram, and I was there before he got into his acting career. And I remember he was a musician and he was doing this country singing, and he sat down and we were at the sunset, and he goes, "All right, so tell me what I need to know." I was like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm fresh into the acting game too. So what I did, and just to give you a little bit of an idea, when I did my episode with your cousin, aka your potential nemesis in a movie that I write for us, I narrated what would make sense as all of us on screen. And basically the synopsis of the previous episode of Woke Wellness Wednesday, because you're new here, is that I think my kid was kidnapped, and I think he's keeping my kid away from my family, because in Native American culture, you guys are very big on family, right? And I was like, all right, so what if I think Wayne kidnapped my kid? And then you come in, and I think it's going to work out. I think you're going to come in your oh, wait, let's show everybody your acting reel. Can I?
Okay. Yes, but let me finish my thought and then we'll do that. But because also I have to defend myself in advance and explain that was from 4 years. That reel's from 5 years ago, and so there's been a lot of improvements in my acting since then. So, but yeah, Wayne, I got to give him a big shout out. He's he's helped me really get to know my culture more. He's also helped me track down the member of my family who actually did enroll. So in the
Wow.
area that I grew up in, so in the area that I grew up in, a lot of people either they didn't have the chance to enroll, or they just didn't enroll due to everything that was going on, i.e. the Trail of Tears, the Removal Act, and everything like that. And so that was actually a big thing. I know a lot of people think that that's like, like, oh, that never happened, like, oh, people didn't go into hiding and people da 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 da. But it actually did happen to a lot of families. And so being able to pinpoint, hey, this was the guy that stood up and went and enrolled us. Because of him, now a few generations later, I'm able to get in touch with that. And so I had a lot of help. My family has really, like, my adopted family, they have been so helpful in helping me do this stuff as well, which is crazy. And so I would say that knowing that now, there's a huge difference that in me being the head of the house, knowing the lineage, knowing my bloodline now, because before it was always like, I think, and this is what I've been told, versus, okay, now I've got proof, I've got evidence, this is who I am. I am who I say I am. And so the biggest thing that we see, you've seen it a lot, in Hollywood, especially.
Yeah.
You've seen all these people who are like, oh, I'm native. And then it comes out, no, you're not. And now they're not acting. And so there was even a professor, and I don't know what college that she was a professor at. But this was within the last year or two, and she was a professor, and her entire life, I don't know if her situation was like, I don't know if she was adopted. I don't know what her situation was. She looked native. Her whole life, she was told she was native. She was doing a lot of stuff for the culture with the college, with the university. Come to find out, she wasn't. She lost her job.
Whoa!
And so I don't know if she was forced to step down or if she completely lost her job. But now that completely trashed her reputation. So for me, it was always, oh, don't tell anybody don't say you're native, don't say you're Cherokee, because there's also a big stereotype with everybody pretending to be Cherokee. Everybody's like, oh, my great grandma's a Cherokee princess, and da 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 da. And it's like, okay, so you laugh it off, and then so it was always like, I know who I am, but I'm afraid to say who I am. Now it's like I can wear that proudly, and so being able to do that now in this household, we're teaching our children Cherokee and Hawaiian. We're teaching the culture. We're teaching the language. I'm trying to learn the language. I know words and phrases. That's it right now. I am at square one. Just put my name on the paper of the test, getting ready to start. That's where I'm at. Like I'm learning, but.
And then just to let you know,
it's been a beautiful journey.
If we can figure this out, remember when you were on the phone with Rocky Navajo for like 2 seconds?
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to bring him, and I want us to do like a group interview. I think it would go crazy. Just as far as like native culture from somebody who's 66 years old, and I've known for 20 years personally, to you guys, and being siblings and having both of you on my show now. That's kind of what I had envisioned. We'll see how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a live stream variety talk show. Anything goes, okay? So if you did it, pull up your homies to this stream to talk about things that are extreme. You need to do that right now. You need to do that right now. Okay? Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Okay, so I love it. This was only one question that was 20 minutes. Okay.
Oh,
the juice, y'all. Okay. How do you feel there is a difference between having a family household versus being adopted?
So I was fortunate. I was adopted at birth. My sister and I both were adopted at birth. And so, like I said, I knew from an early age that I was adopted. That changed how I saw things. So I grew up in a amazing home. Like if you were to, no joke, write down, if you were trying to create the perfect feature film and you wanted the perfect family, that's what I had. I had a very present dad. I had a very present mom. To this day, there's still, like, we talk all the time. Like, we have, the relationship that we have is incredible. The same with my sister, my aunt. We talk all the time. We have a group chat with the whole family and Ash, and like, we're always, cutting jokes and just talking life. And you can't ask for a better, more intimate family relationship. But like I said, being adopted, in my own head, everything's great out here. Everything is great out here. But in here, this is where the issue is. So in here, right from the get-go, I've got an identity issue. I don't know who I am. So I'm trying to figure out who I am. And then I'm also trying to create a new identity for myself because I didn't know. So I'm, growing up, I'm picking some of the wrong people to hang out with, and, doing some of the wrong things. And even as I got older, when I went into the military, and the person that I was when I was in the military versus who I am now, I don't recognize that person, and people that knew me then don't know me now, if that makes sense. And so, knowing who I am and having that value, it makes such a world of difference. And so being the head of the house now and knowing full well who I am, it makes me a more present father. It makes me a more present husband. It makes me more interactive with Ash and the kids. And I know that may sound crazy, but if anyone out there listening to this is adopted and has had to find out who they are, then, they'll appreciate that. They'll get it. So it's one of those things. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
Shit. Oh, I was talking with the mic muted. I was like trying to not,
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I have the fog machine going. It just keeps me entertained. Everybody, this is such an awesome episode. Oh my God, I'm excited. Okay, so I have another question. How did you feel when you first learned about your Native American ancestry?
So I was so young when I found out. Like I said, I was 15, 16. Mm-hmm. I think my mom and dad told me before then, like, before I actually got to meet my family, meet my biological family. Right. But
how old were you when you met your biological family?
Initially, I was somewhere between 15 and 16, but it was such a brief visit, and I wasn't in the right mindset to meet them at the time. I'm very thankful that my parent, like, looking back, I'm like, that's a huge sacrifice that they went through. That's like,
why is that?
They would lay down their lives for me.
Your adopted family.
I mean, I just think I just try to put myself in their shoes, so if I went out of my way, and if I'm spending all this time and money to go through the adoption process in and of itself, and then I raise this child like he's mine, to him, or to me, he's my only son. But to him, like, I'm his dad, but he wants to know all this other stuff. And so, I could see where I don't think it was as big of a sacrifice for them as I think it was, because they're so loving and giving that I think that they were like, cool, yeah, we fully support it. But in my head at the time, I was like, oh, they're going to think this and they're going to think that. And I was just so young. I didn't really understand. As far as getting to meet them, I didn't know if, like, getting to meet my biological family, I didn't know.
I mean, what was their emotion? that you had? Like, what was like their range of the emotions? I mean, it has to be overwhelming no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, my my family, my adopted family, they were cool with it. They were cool at the time with me going and meeting them, or at least from the relationship between me and them, they were cool. Behind closed doors, I don't know, but they're very genuine and authentic. So I'm pretty sure that they were cool with it because even to this day, they're still supportive. They're like, I've had talks with my mom and with my dad both, and they're like, son, we support you, like getting to know them and building that relationship. You know, I thought that they would think that I was trying to replace them. As a 15-year-old, you know, I was like, man, they probably think I'm trying to replace them. So I didn't want it. Like, after we met, I left it at that. And then it wasn't until, like I said, I was an adult that I retracked them back down and then started trying to build relationships. And so, through doing that, I mean, it was very uncomfortable at first, but getting to know them, it answered a lot of questions that I didn't know I even had, you know.
Like what?
And so, like, where do I come from? Like, what did everybody do? What was everybody's? I mean, little things like, oh, what did so and so do for work? I want to see pictures of people. Like, I want to see what they look like. I want to see, do I look like so and so? And
Wow. And then how old were you when that happened?
I was 29 or 30.
Oh my God. So that's not even what, a long time. Is that fresh?
Yeah, this is all within the last few years. I'm 32.
So hold on. So only within the last 2 years have you kind of just been able to self, I guess, identify?
Yeah. So my whole life was just, I'm just going to be whatever, like, whatever. And so the thing is, yeah, I've had, my family's been so supportive, but I've had other people who were very close to me who weren't supportive. And I think some of them, I think it came from a good place. I think it was, hey, we don't want you to get hurt. You go down that road, you don't know what you're going to find, and da 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 da. And I get that. And looking back now from a mature mindset, I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. And then some people were just like, you know, if that was me, I wouldn't do that, and da da da, because everybody's got opinions. But
Yeah, sure.
I've been very lucky, with my family, with my loved ones. Like, they have been so supportive. Ash is so supportive. Ash is so supportive. She got to grow up in her culture. She is from Hawaii. She got to grow up in her culture. She went to a Hawaiian immersion school. She got to know her culture growing up. And so that was so awesome. And so seeing, like, even when we moved back to Hawaii and seeing her get back into her culture, that really sparked it in me that, man, I want to do that with my culture. And as I was getting to know the creator and getting to know myself and all that, I just prayed. I was just like, I really want to get to know. I want to get to know more. I want to know more about who I am. I want to know more about where I come from. I want to know about my people, my family, my relatives. Like, I want to know. And I prayed that with a sincere heart. And little did we both thought we were gonna be in Hawaii forever. And a year later, Ash got a job in North Carolina. And so we were there in Asheville, an hour away from Cherokee. Huge answer to prayer. A prayer that I kind of, right. And I kind of brushed it off later. I was like, I'm like, oh, well, if it happens, it does. If not, oh, well. And so when we were there, that's when I started kind of getting in touch with people within my family. And it was just so wild. Just seeing things that I had prayed for for a couple decades, really, since before I even met my birth family. Like, when I knew, like, okay, this is who I've been told I am, versus boom. And so seeing that all fold out, it shows the love and the beauty of the creator. It shows his grace and mercy for someone like me who didn't deserve it. I'm like, I got a second chance at life. Like, I was not a good dude before, and I've got a second chance at life. And, and that's the thing, like, looking back, like, there was a lot of people that saw the best in me, but there was a lot of people that saw me and they probably saw the devil himself through the way I acted. And so I'm just beyond grateful that my life is the way it is, because it's almost like a movie. It seems so unreal.
Right. So tell us a little bit about this reel, because we got everybody in here now for the most part, unless they didn't share like I asked them.
Okay, so this is from 2019. This reel is from when I started my acting career, before I did any film work. This was before I did any film work, before I did any training. This was just, I got picked up to do that feature film, and I was like, cool. I had done some modeling work before. I was in a lot better shape than I am now. So I had done some modeling work in the past. I did some work for.
We're here to boost up your ego. You're looking great. It's 2024. Everybody got faced with a pandemic. We keep telling ourselves we're going to go to the gym, and now we're here, on a Wednesday night. Okay. So,
True.
I'm guilty as charged. I just got my headshots, and I wasn't, not looking like a marshmallow, in my opinion. That's fine.
I think you're like me. You're your own worst critic. So I'm sure they came out great.
Critics.
So yes,
critics.
if you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to you. So
I say things to me.
I'm kind of hard on my best friends. I'm real honest with them. But so with this reel, like I said, this is before I started my acting career. I got so I got picked up to do this feature film. And I was like, sweet, I do want to do that transition from, like, I don't want to do modeling. I did a very limited amount of work, but I didn't like it. I didn't like doing that. I mean, not that it's not great work, but it wasn't for me. I like to eat. Right. So I switched over to acting. So with that, I was like, cool, I need to build a reel. And so with no training, this is what we came up with. Like I said, this was 5 years ago. So there's been a lot of training since then. So go ahead.
Well, everybody, pull up your popcorn. We are ready to take a look of the acting journey of Cory Wilson. I'm going to, what we call on a Music Monday, mute the fuck up.
Watch this. We give people what they want, even if we have to tell them what they want. This is not a democracy. This is America.
Reality TV really ain't what it used to be. They ain't got nothing on us. Look at this. This is reality.
You sit. No, not here. Get up. Leave. Sit at home. Bye. Yeah, don't forget your pen. What do you think?
Get inside on the one.
We can
get in closer, please. That's better. Okay, you can get out of here.
I really need a conclusion for the McGill custody case.
Yes, Mr. Mark.
Oh, where's that new girl? Rosie, Ruby, Riley,
Rachel.
whatever her name is, shy mousy thing. Tell her she's doing a great job with us. The whole company morale HR bull they supposed to say at that seminar or TED Talk or whatever it was. Yes. Dual training, get up 5 points.
No more spending money to develop strategies, to spend even more money, to move even more money around, to analyze, rinse, and repeat. Okay?
I heard it on the radio.
No, stop. Maria, listen to me. We would have told you.
18 years old. Found out on the scene at university.
We would have told you. We would have told you.
Told me what?
Listen, I was the first one here. Her roommate was the one that called. I was the first responder. This is how we found her.
We do world first stuff every day.
Yep, I know. I need people like you. You're now an associate, okay?
I think we could educate and inform.
Informate.
Yeah. Yeah, see? Hey, the thing.
What? should feel scared. I need.
Nothing rhymes with orange.
We just hit the 50, what is it, the yard line? Whatever, man. We're at the halfway point. Shit's going to get better from here. If you haven't shared already, I'm upset at you. And I don't want to be upset at you. I told you to get popcorn. You know what I said? You know what I said? Right this minute. Right this minute, okay?
So
sorry.
Randy said I could play. Randy said I could play Johnny Bravo. I will be Cinnamon Johnny Bravo whenever. Just say when.
Okay, you know what? Here, all right. If you're Johnny Bravo, can I be like the geeky nerd that's in the computer room? And then I'm telling
absolutely.
you like where to go. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Out the movie plot, you know?
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead, submit your resume. We'll
No,
get you in.
I'm waiting to get you, your cousin, and Rocky on the same episode at the end of this month. I need to have it for my life to continue for this summer. Stay woke or not, we're gonna, we got big things in the horizon. We're also selling rings on the internet. This just came in the mail. Ooh. Back to you though, Johnny Bravo. Give us the slick back. Give us the Johnny slick back.
That's the one though.
You guys, if you get your popcorn, you're failing me. You're failing me. Okay. This is that Wednesday that we need in our lives here. Okay, so we got to see you on screen. I think you told us a lot about just you identifying in the process of finding your culture, essentially identifying with your wife and really having those family ties. And that is really cool because really that's what Wayne and I were talking about on a previous Wednesday was just, how the family ties are so interesting. For my next bit, what made you change your reckless behavior?
There were a few things that kind of led to that. One was a suicide attempt in 2016. It was definitely one that I should not have survived. Totally miraculous. And again, super thankful and grateful. That kind of led to A, I'm here for a purpose. And B, not only is there someone up there, but that someone loves me enough to spare me to let me know. And so I was like, I want to know who that is, and I want to have a relationship with them. And so that was the start of my journey. That wasn't the boom, everything's great now. So with that suicide attempt, I never told anyone. It wasn't until a few years later. I was out of the military by the time I told anybody. I think
Wait, did that happen while you were in the military? Wait, real quick, did that happen while you were in the military?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that one happened while I was in the military. I had a lot of reckless incidents that was like, oh, if I go, I go. But that was the determined one. And I don't think I told anybody. I think I told a couple of my closest friends, a little later. But the first person that I really sat down and talked to about it was Ash. And so keep in mind, I didn't meet her till I met her at the end of 2019, and so I met her in 2019.
I think we got married in July. I've been following your love journey for a while.
Since she was hospitalized. So we got married. 3 months later, she was in the hospital.
Okay.
That was another thing. She shouldn't have survived that. I shouldn't have survived. She shouldn't have survived. Neither of us should be here. If we're looking at man's plan, neither of us should be here. If we're looking at God's plan, if we're looking at the Creator's plan, we're here for a reason. Whether that reason is to raise these children up for something or something else, I don't know what it is. My job is to seek Him daily and to try to. Really, what I want to do is just find people that are going through the same stuff I went through. I want to pull them out of that dark place because I know what it's like. Some people don't. Or not some people can't relate, but some people don't know how to cope with it. Some people don't know how to deal with it. They get stuck in it and they spiral and spiral and spiral and spiral. And I know that feeling. And so anyway, going back to Ash, yeah. So we got married 3 months later. She was in the hospital. She had multi-system organ failure. She had fluid in her lungs. She had so much fluid around her lungs. It was compressing her lungs. Like, she was in the hospital for 6 weeks, most of which she was in the ICU. And that was really when I was like, I'm going to stop living for myself and stop doing a lot of this dumb stuff that I'm doing and stop being like, I was living for Cory Wilson. And I wanted to get Cory Wilson to the next acting gig, the next this, the next that. Like, I was looking at the material things. And what I've learned is I can't serve the creator and serve materialism at the same time. And so I was like, I've got to pick one. And what I've been doing and doing my way is gonna, like, I am gonna.
That one more time. I feel like that was so important. You said something that just like rang bells. You said you can't serve the creator and what at the same time?
Materialism. You can't serve the creator and materialism at the same time. And it's so true. It's so true. That's in scriptures, but it's so applicable to everyday life. If we're out enjoying creation and we're enjoying what the creator made, we're gonna see life different versus if we're chasing the money, we're chasing the cars, we're chasing the women, we're chasing this and that and da 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 da. There's never gonna be enough. There's never enough. It's the same, like, there's never enough drugs. There's never enough money. There's never enough booze. There's never enough this or that. I'm not saying we can't enjoy those things. Like, we can enjoy some of these things to an extent, right? But it's when it takes our mind away, from that relationship, if it distracts us from that relationship, it's not worth it. And so that was kind of the start of that for me. And so she got, that was November, towards the end of November when she got out. And so July, August, September, October. Yeah. So she went in October, got out in November.
This would lead me into my next question. As you guys know, I told you the juice is here. Pull up your beverage. You guys already know we got mugs on the website. What unbelievable. Did you even know that we also have backpacks? And I'm going to pull this out right now.
Those are awesome mugs and backpacks. Go buy one now.
Hey, look at this. Oh my God. You guys, we got it back. The car got repoed and this was in the car. And it's back in the house. Oh, yeah, it's a laptop bag. I just want you guys to know that there's compartments, okay? And we even have the sleeve. And guess what? For all y'all DJs out there, anybody in the music, this is Nick Gator. It's good. Mm-hmm.
You can also wear that if you're mowing your yard and you don't want to get stuff in your face.
Ooh, I just made a nasty spill in here. Ooh, la, la. Okay, I have a question for you. And crikey. Pull up your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. And if you want to answer, go ahead. I dare you. How has love saved your life?
It got me away from that reckless behavior we were talking about. It got me away from that. It got me seeking life and not death. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was the military. I don't know if it was other. Yeah, I don't know if it was. I don't know what it was. It could have been anything that I was like, from the music I was listening to the things I was reading, to the things that I was doing. Everything that I was doing was surrounded by death and was infatuated by death. Like, I loved it. I was ready to die. I wanted to die. Like, right. I was, like, that was my mindset 24/7 was like, I'm ready to die. Not like, oh, I'm ready to die for this or that or this or that. Like, I was like, I don't want to be here anymore.
For
And
anybody that's
so
listening, for anyone that's listening that battles that, and what really pulled you out of it?
I still struggle with it from time to time. But that's not my baseline anymore. So my baseline before was like, I don't care what happens. I just want to die. And now, and then, with that being my baseline, there would be spikes of, oh, I'm happy. Boop. I'm not happy. That kind of thing. And now I'm more at peace. I do have those spikes where I'm like, oh man, things might be better if, or whatever. And then I start thinking, oh, where's that thought coming from? Where's that thought coming from? And I really try to dig into the root. And that's with anything. Find the root of the problem and cut it out. It's just like I used to coach. I used to train people. And before I had a lot of my injuries, I was working out a lot. But even when I stopped training so much, when I stopped working out a lot myself and just focused more on training people, we would always try to get to the root cause. Like, oh, I've got pain in my shoulder or whatever. Okay, we'll come and find out the root of the cause was something going on in their bicep. So once you start analyzing what's going on and you dig into it, then you can kind of look at you can look at head on. And so you can't be afraid to face those demons head on. They're there and they're real. And the more you try to run from them, the more they come back. But you got to face it head on. You got to cut the head off the snake. Oh, lost you. Can you hear me?
No, I'm sorry. I muted myself. I just have to take in what you just said right now. Like, it is very valid what you're saying, and really how to pull yourself out of it and try to find a modality to make you want to be here. A personal
That's one of the
confession.
importances of community. That's such a big importance of community. And so that was another thing with getting to know my culture and getting to know everything, was understanding how big community was and is. And so, I have a lot, there's a lot of different things I'm dealing with mentally.
Right.
But I try to look at it from a more logistic standpoint now. So, more recently, I found out that I've got severe ADHD, and
that goes into my next question. Now that you have ADD, neurodivergence, that is what we are here for. World Wellness Wednesday is here to accept anyone. I'm bipolar type 1. My brother had schizophrenia. He passed away of fentanyl, and then my mom died of a heart attack. So as far as anybody that deals with mental illness, I am here for you. I get it. That's what we're doing here.
Yep.
And I appreciate you, coming to terms with this. And how are you coping?
It's a learning like now I try to look at everything from a learning process. Before it was woe is me and da 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 da. Now it's okay, cool, let's deal with it. And so now it's so new. I'm still waiting to get I've had an assessment. I'm waiting to get a more thorough assessment so I can get proper medication. But now that I know this, and knowing now that, that explains, like, I've had it since a child. Like, I was young and I didn't know. I was just, growing up in the small town that I grew up in. Like, I grew up in the mountains, and then I was in the military. So my whole life, like, ADHD wasn't a thing. It was just focus. Hey, right here, focus, so that's all it ever was. And so now that I know, okay, this is what I got. Now I can shift how I do things. But the big thing is now that I know I have it, I know, okay, I can see the warning signs. I can see, the onsets. I can see different things happening, and then I can shift from there on how to go forward, if that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I guess how can you say family members and friends support with someone with ADHD like helps in your community?
I think education about it, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of now it's more of a common thing. Not that it wasn't common before, but now people are more educated on it and people are understanding more about it. And so, much like with anything else, with any other, you know, any kind of condition or, mental thing going on, the more you understand about it, the more you can help someone out with it. So, knowing that I have that now, and knowing that a lot of times that can be passed on genetically, okay, I know how to deal with it. So if God forbid one of my children end up getting it, it's like, all right, cool. Hey, here's how you cope with it. Because before
Right. That makes
it was just they just can't sit still. That's all it ever was back, in my town, or like, oh, he just can't pay attention in class or whatever. And it's like, oh, whoops, my bad. And so,
aha. Well, that kind of like makes me realize, you guys, if there's any questions from the audience, now would be the time. Because it's already at 52 minutes, and it's kind of crazy how time just went. And we got to learn so much more about you. I love your acting reel, and we got Randy Vision saying that you look like Johnny Bravo. That kind of leads me into my next question. Who would you like to be stereotyped in Hollywood?
got
him.
What if I flip that and I ask you, who do you think I would like to be stereotyped with?
Okay, you know what? As somebody who has lived in LA as long as I have and have come up with every movie plot line to take over Hollywood, I want to put Native Americans in a version of Black Panther. I want there to be like crazy Xena warriors like your wife that look like her, and then she has a tribe. But like, I want it to where it's like assigned to numbers. Wait, who's here? Who's saying I'm battling with my own identity? I was sheltered by my mother. Is it almost like that show that's going on? What's that girl's name? She went to jail for a super long time because she killed her mom. Did you hear about that?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
What is
I
that?
hope it's Miranda. I hope it's not that severe.
Oh, from Brooke Burton on Facebook. If you could go back to age 18 to 21. That's right. Pick up your beverages. Where are you? Beverage time. Cheers. Where is it? Where's my mug? Where's my mug?
Okay, so this is one of the most talented actresses I know. She's been mentoring me quite a bit, and she does the best headshots around. So, but if I could tell myself anything, 18 to 21-year-old me, I want to say cliched and be like, oh, just don't give up, hang in there, keep on keeping on. But I want to be real with it, and when I say don't give up on looking for your purpose, on what you're supposed to be doing. Don't run from your calling. That was another thing. I ran because it scared me. I was, and so I ran. And I never dealt, like I said, I never dealt with a lot of the issues I had from childhood. I swept them under the rug. I didn't realize until I was doing therapy. Once I got discharged, once I got out and became a civilian and I started going through therapy, it was, we were going through some therapy and they were like, that's not the root cause. And I was like, what are you talking about? We kept digging and digging and digging. And this is the importance of facing your demons head on. I didn't realize that, or I had buried all of the childhood sexual trauma. And so I buried it with all this other stuff and not being present in the moment. I spent my entire life not being present. So one thing I would say is face your demons head on. The other thing is I would say is, yeah, face your demons head on. Address stuff when it needs to be addressed. Because if you don't address stuff when it needs to be addressed, it's going to go, you're going to sweep it under the rug. And eventually you're going to trip over what's under that rug. And it's going to be a mess for you. It's going to be a mess for everyone around you. I hurt a lot of people along the way. You know, you and I were talking before, you know, we were talking about how hurt people and heal people heal people. And I know that that's a very cliched statement, but having been on both sides, I can attest that that is true. And so as someone who was hurt and not even realizing that I was hurt, I hurt a lot of people in the process. I ruined a lot of innocent souls because of the person that I was. Because I was, in my mind, I don't know if it was deep down, I was like, oh, I'm going down. I'll just take everybody else with me. Anybody close to me, you're going down with me because I don't want to be alone. And now it's on the other extreme where it's like, look, if I can get through this, you can. Like let's get up together. So address what needs to be addressed and be cognizant of those around you on how you can be of service to them. Like, how can you use your stuff to help somebody else? Because life isn't all about you. Life is not about us serving ourselves. So if I'm trying to serve my creator and serve my neighbor is not just the person I get along with. It's the person I don't like too. It's other creation, you know? So how am I treating everybody else? Am I helping them get out of the low spot they're in? Or am I like, man, they're too far gone, you know, or F them. They said this 20 years ago, whatever. And so.
Do you feel like you answered this question?
Brooke, do you feel like I answered that question?
Did he? Yes, Miranda. Thank you so much for sending me a poem. I have to read it. Definitely. Yes, it was answered. Okay, well, there's only 2 minutes left. And I want to play your song that you wanted me to play that I didn't get to play for you.
The intro song?
Yeah. This is your extra song.
Yes, good boy.
Not be afraid to dig under the rug.
Run like you got Holy Ghost. Run like you know they gonna love you the most. Run me my flowers while living at dinner. Just run me my toast.
Oh, that leads me into this. How do you feel therapy changed for you?
There was a stigma around it for me. I didn't want to go to therapy. Therapy was not a place that people like me went to. Okay. You know, I could have had a very easy, could have had an easier life. I chose to make it hard for myself. And because I wanted to do all the wrong things. I wanted to do the stuff that was, and when I say that, I wanted to do the things that were against my calling, that were contradicting my purpose. And so going to therapy for me, I needed that, but I didn't want it. I didn't want to go to therapy because for me, there was a stigma around it that, oh, that's for the cuckoos. As back home, we say, oh, that's for the people on the 4th floor, you know? And so I was like, I didn't want to go. And then being in the military, and any of the veterans out there listening to this, you can attest to this. Within the Department of Defense, within all the branches, what happens when you go to what happens when you go to behavioral health or when you go to mental health? You're shunned from the village and everybody sees you as worthless. And so the first time I went to therapy was just before I got out. And then I started really getting into it a couple years after I got out and taking it seriously. But being able to do that, I had someone to sit down with me and force me to look those demons head on. I'm like, you want to fix this stuff? Here you go. Here's the scissors. cut those roots out. Let's go. But we're going to sit here with you. You're going to work through it, because it's not like some stuff you just can't go through on. Some stuff you can work out on your own. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there was some stuff I did, but then there's some stuff it takes a professional. And just like when people would hire me as a coach, they can get themselves so far, but then that's when they hired me. And just like even when I was doing that kind of stuff, I would hire a coach. I could get so far, but then I had to hire somebody. Just like as an actor and as an actress, what happens? We hire coaches. We want to become the best at what we do. So if I want to become the best at life, if I'm going to be playing this game of life, and now I'm switching my mindset from death to life, okay, how do I play this game? Because this is a whole new way of life that I cannot comprehend because I've spent my whole life running from it. So for me, I was able to see therapy for what it was, not what I thought it was. And it helped me to be able to address a lot of things that needed to be addressed. And so, yeah.
I really like that. I definitely have my own battles if wanting to see a therapist. They don't see me as much as they should in the LA Unified for Mental Health. You guys need more of me out there. Okay. But yeah, no, I really appreciate the time that we had to get to just know more of you. I followed your journey personally, but to kind of really dabble on your, identity, coming into knowing your family, knowing that these are the roots that you want to do to establish for your own, and, ultimately not falling victim to our own demise, so to speak.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that's the thing, because if we embrace victimhood, we're not servicing anybody else around us. And so that was my biggest thing, is I was like, I'm taking everyone else down around me. So what good am I doing? And so once I started living for other people, not living for living for them, but once I started living a more selfless life, that's when I started being more fulfilled.
That's kind of what I do here. Man. I didn't even think about it, but this is talk therapy. If you guys want to support Stay Woke or Not, and you love what we're having as far as dialogue, I definitely like to think that I ask questions that are out of the norm. I want to keep you going. I want to keep everybody, really following the dialogue of helping each other out and listening to other people's struggles and, getting perspective on what it is that we think we're doing here. I think that's a bigger thing to be doing more constantly. So I'm hoping to do my all Native American lineup, maybe get them in this merch on the website. Oh my God, Summer Out to Destroy. This is the dog hoodie. As you know, Stoic is my princess. There she is on the website. This is a previous guest. She modeled professionally. This is my neighbor. My neighbor bought it. Don't you love it? What else happened here? Oh yeah, neck gaiters. Oh yeah. And then if you guys were there for a previous Woke Wellness Wednesday, as you guys already know, we had Brandon Durazo on a Woke Wellness previous. I can't even know. And then now that this episode is here with you in the future, Cory Wilson, you're going to be next to your cousin on the website.
Do you think everybody's ready for me and Wayne in the same place at the same time?
Look at that, dude. I am making this a reality. The spontaneity and the energy that's coming to the future is asinine. If you have not already liked and subscribed, you're a fool. You're a freaking fool. And I need you to do it right now. I'm just kidding. Most of this is pure sarcasm. So thank you guys so much for a Woke Wellness Wednesday. Everybody, go check out Cory P. Wilson on the gram. You already know what time it is. If you got any gigs for him, he's ready for it. Tell him, okay, what was it? Johnny Bravo. All right, real quick. Name 3 characters you'd rather be stereotyped. Go.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and say Johnny Bravo for one.
Johnny Bravo was the winner.
I'm working on downsizing quite a bit. I was bigger, so I'm shaping up. So I don't know. Everybody likes Marky Mark Wahlberg, way up there in Boston. You know that guy? Do one of those guys. Huh?
Wait a
You know what I'm
second.
saying?
I can do a Jersey mom. Hold on. Look, the last time I talked to Veronica was like 5 years ago. So by the time she gets to us and we're in the parking lot, you better expect hands. You better expect hands.
Oh, yeah. Well, you tell Veronica when she gets down here in the back of my Ford Taurus, you just pop open the trunk. There's a crowbar. But not only is there a crowbar, there's a box of donuts. So it's up to you whether you want to live, laugh, and love, or you want to get violent. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to Boston.
You know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of a plot twist here, okay? I'm going to take these donuts. I'm going to put it on the end of the pistol, and then I'm going to shoot through it and pretend it was somebody's confetti, okay? That's what I'm going to do in my head just to get by Wednesday.
That's a good idea. I think you should do that. The other one. Okay. So two more.
Internet. Yes, internet. We just did that. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Two more because the Johnny Bravo was a freebie. The other one would be I want to do a Nacho Libre type character.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm obsessed with Nacho Libre. Me and Ash, we can quote the whole movie. It's there's such a small amount of dialogue in it, but it's so intense. Do you know what I mean? Get that going out of my face.
No, I was talking to you earlier about your heritage. I was talking about your ancestry, and you know what?
People.
I really wanted to know, how did love say you lie? How?
The love for my life is like, ¿cómo se dice? It's like when you take the tortilla, and on the tortilla you put the arroz y los frijoles y la carne y cilantro y salsa picante. That's love. So, and then the last one that I want to do, I don't know if anybody's seen this.
Yes, this is like the bonus hour. This is like the bonus end track.
Great.
We made it to the end credits to Rush Hour.
If you're still here watching this, yes! God bless you. God bless your soul. So the last one I want to do, it's from a movie, The Campaign. So Zach Galifianakis. Zach, if you ever see this, my man, please hit me up. So Zach Galifianakis, he's from another small town that's close to where I'm from. So he's another Appalachian man. And that's right, Appalachian. If you say Appalachian, you're wrong and you might get slapped in the wrong neighborhood. But it's Appalachian. So Zach Galifianakis.
Appalachian.
Oh, yeah. So Zach Galifianakis and Will Ferrell did this movie called The Campaign. And Zach Galifianakis' character's name, his name is Marty Huggins. And he just talks like this right here. And he's a family man. And he's just so wholesome and kind. And he can just sit and talk to you about everything. And so I want to play a character where I just talk like this. I'd really like to play a bad guy that talks like this. Just pew, pew. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I got it. Oh, no.
You had something and you lost it, didn't you?
No, I got it. Okay, now that we're at the end credits, what movie should he do? Drop it in the comments.
This should be interesting.
I don't know. This should be good.
While we're waiting on some comments, you tell me. While we're waiting on comments, you tell me.
I'm ready. Okay. In my head, if I was gonna have Wayne Garner and Cory Wilson and this other actress, Shia Luna, and then my other actor friend, he's like he's Native American, but he looks Pakistani. He's very exotic looking, and I want him to be the bad guy. And I know as an actor director, I can bring it out in him. I just know. I know how to take big personalities, but like get him to do what I want. If that makes any sense. Like we're here to play a narrative. So like I want him to be the villain. I want Shia Luna to be like the cop next to you. There's something about like that in my head. I just want you guys to be like side cops. And then Wayne Garner, I'm mad at him the entire movie because I think he kidnapped my kid. And then you're trying to calm me down. Oh, dude, I have this whole thing figured out.
This is getting good.
Yeah, This is what we're doing here. We're doing crazy shit under deep down. I'm a millionaire. But anyway, so
Wheels are turning.
so now in the movie, now that you know the cast, it's you, your cousin, Shia Luna. I'll pull up these IMDb. I will pull up these Instagrams. I'm not even.
No, I'm tracking. I know all these people.
Okay. And then if we could get Rocky Navajo to be like the guy that tells me the one thing that calms me down, because I've known him since I was 19 years old. Like, if there is one human being that's just gonna get me to it's him. So at the end of the movie, he tells me, like, you know what, you're gonna get your kid back or something. Like in the Matrix when it came to the key guy and Keanu Reeves was talking to the key. Okay, Rocky Navajo is the key guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I just came up with this right now.
All right, write it down. Let's go.
You know what I mean? Definitely Stay Woke or Not is an independent semi-production company. What comes out of my mouth can happen because I do know these people, and I have a way of corralling. I want to, you know what? Somebody, okay, Cory, help me. Who owns the tequila farm?
Secretly, me and Wayne, even though I'm out to get him.
Oh, plot twist!
Nobody.
Oh my god, dude, we need to write this down. We need to tell him right now. Hey, call up your cousin. Tell him we're still on the stream.
You know he's in. If I'm in, he's in.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm talking to you after the stream. Thank you guys so much. It was a Woke Wellness Wednesday, and we had the talented Cory Wilson talking about all things mental health awareness on all fronts. And I absolutely adore you and your wife's love story. And this was the Woke Wellness Wednesday. Any ending things to say to the people?
Thank you so much. While we're waiting to see if anybody has anything to say, Dahlia, I appreciate you. Thank you for following our story. You know, it's been as crazy as you can imagine. Like, if you were to try to write it out as a story, it wouldn't even be as crazy as what it's been in real life. And so, and trying to compile half of that into a podcast, you know, it was very brief, but you know,
I'm not even gonna lie. I bet you if we transcribed this audio portion, we could probably just push out a book after the episode. ChatGPT.
Yeah. Right.
Help me. We are gonna have in the future, if you want to co-host, it depends how we do this, but we are bringing Tech Tuesday soon to a live stream near you. I'm going to be interviewing a game developer. We have the founder of Punk X who fosters dogs through NFTs. He noticed I had dog hoodies. We're working on a bigger partnership. So Stay Woke or Not is here on the forefront. The DIY and how you get to your mental health, that is up to you. Super fantastic. Jean-Michel Amos Havit. Et de Woke Wellness Wednesday.